Hey, what's up guys? Your average wargamer is back with another video of World of Warships. And in this video, I am going to be featuring T10 premium aircraft carrier, that is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The only steel resource aircraft carrier in the game, and I think by far the most powerful ship that Wargaming has ever added in the game. It is certainly one of the most unique ships in the game, and I will explain the strengths and the reason why it is the most strongest ship in the game. Now, first of all, it has two squadrons which are particularly pretty broken, and you will be able to see that how you can actually able to utilize the strengths if you play like me that I'm doing in FDR, and you can do pretty consistent damage on at least three ship classes. First, battleship, second, heavy cruiser, third, aircraft carrier. Now, FDR can maneuver its bombs and torpedo bombers in such a way that has never ever seen in aircraft carrier. These are the slowest planes, by the way, but by far the tankiest, and they maneuver in such a way which I will show you in just a second, and you can able to see that you can absolutely crazy do damage to these poor battleships. I literally did like a good drop on him. Like, FDG actually has a bit of a deck armor which is like 80mm, and hence the reason why I get a lot of shatters. So keep that in mind. Like, there are a couple of battleships in the game that can actually shatter these 63mm penetration bombs. Okay, Lugrialo de Loria, FDG. Now coming up to the strengths. Look at this maneuver that I'm gonna do against FDG. Did you see this maneuver? FDG actually trying to turn out and wanted to mitigate a lot of damage as much as possible, and well, you cancel the effect of that pretty much easily because of this insane maneuverability. And I got 3 permanent fires. This is not really going to be fun for this poor guy. He just started the game, and within no time I have almost now going to get 50,000 damage, because these fires will run for a good long time. It is definitely pretty hard for this poor guy, and he can't do much about it. So he's disengaging, and I'm just letting these 3 fires to burn on, and I'm going to drop on this Richthofen. Now, Richthofen, Maximilian, particularly Nakimov, these all aircraft carriers have 50mm armor. You can penetrate with these bombs on their deck, and these are pretty much vulnerable against FDR. You can actually smash them for like 24k damage if you get all 8 bomb hits, and that actually gets a lot of times, right? Because the deck armors of the carriers are usually pretty big, and 8 bombs are pretty easy because of this reticle that it has. So FDR is really tanky. Like, I dropped him, he didn't able to shoot down the planes. Now FDR is so tanky in terms of its planes HP. As you can see, I have come up with the bombs. It has a lot of payloads. Now torpedo bombers also have a lot of HP. Almost 57,000 HP on these torpedo bombers? That seems to be insane. Like, these are heavy cruiser levels of HP at tier 10. And FDR does have these planes like tankiness. So imagine you cannot able to shoot down these planes. Like, it's not that much possible for a single ship, or let alone any class in the game, that can actually shoot down these much planes. So, well, I'm dropping this Pommern. Now, Pommern in this scenario is actually trying to push madly, and you will find out that how much FDR is even more stronger when an isolated battleship is trying to push. I mean, you did like at least in my case, I did almost like what, 24k damage, 23k damage. That basically completely annihilates this Pommern. Now this Pommern is trying to push and using his secondaries, and I get it, people do that almost all the time in German ships, but man, oh man, FDR absolutely kicks their butt like that way. And I have basically dropped him once, and I have like a couple of more strikes to drop him. Look at, because well, it has high damaging payload if you eat if they eat a lot of damage, and you have a lot more strikes remaining. I mean, you don't have much time except to just die. I mean, there's just no way. You don't have any cover or support from any other ship if you are pushing alone. And only the aircraft carrier, the enemy aircraft carrier, can actually support you in this scenario by dropping the fighter plane on top of you. But in randoms, I don't really think so that there's going to be any carrier that literally going to help you with like this. Like, it's not that much possible. And now I'm doing the same thing with this poor Venezia. Now, if I would have aimed it just a bit right, slightly nudge my torpedoes towards the left, I think Venezia would have eaten actually 6-7 torpedoes as well. But even then, he eaten like 4 torpedoes and I almost did like how much? 12,000 damage. That is not bad. Like if he would have eaten like 8 bombs, he would have been pretty much lost 24,000 HP in just a single drop. This is the power level of FDR. You have so much tanky plane, they are not easily going to get shot down, except maybe defensive air fire. And I will showcase you a couple of areas where even defensive air fire of Holland, one of the most renowned tier 10 destroyers that have decent AA, still alone cannot be capable. So you basically pick targets one by one and you basically smash them. Now in this case, there is a Yoshino pushing like crazy. They are thinking that they are pretty much dominating this flank, but I killed the Power, I did some good damage to Venezia, and now this poor Yoshino is going to be the fate, in terms of losing so much HP. And look at that, 7 bomb hits, almost 15,000 damage. Same fate, same results. He's dead as well. Killed 2 of their ships without any issues whatsoever, almost taking down the flank pretty easily, because the sea flank, as you can see in the minimap, is pretty much dominated by us. So we just need to basically hold this A flank. Now obviously FDR can do a lot of things by itself, but a teammate support can also be pretty much valuable, and you will find out that what Kagero will do. But in this game, in this case, you will see what I'm gonna do to this poor defensive area Holland. Now defensive area Holland is definitely something not an easy to deal with, but well, FDR bombs. Now there is RNG that comes into play, and RNG means random number generator. Sometimes the bomb dispersion is such that he will basically going to dodge all the bombs, but most of the time, since you have a lot of bombs in payload, you will almost always going to have a chance to at least land a single bomb if you are aiming it correctly. And in this case, I'm aiming it correctly, and I have a really good practice to drop against destroyers. So even if they try to maneuver, they will still going to get a chunk by FDR bombs. And again 2 bomb hits, and look at that HP again. Did 7,000 before and did 7,000 again. 14,000 drop, and this defensive area Holland poorly basically just got annihilated. And that's the power. Again and again, I still have a lot of torpedo bombers in payload. Sorry, in a full squadron left. I have a lot of bombs left, so there's nothing really wrong right now that I'm missing out on those planes, or maybe losing a ton of planes. Now in this case, I was talking about like a couple of seconds ago, I was talking about how the teammates can be such a valuable tool when you are dealing against destroyers. So there's a Yu Yang that has his attention diverted towards Kagero, and I basically utilized this exact time, and this poor guy didn't realizing the situation that I'm dropping the torpedoes in front of him. I basically aimed it like in such a way that he will eventually going to eat torpedoes. Now look at that Yu Yang. He just instantly realized after just getting dropped by me, and it was too late that he didn't maneuver those torpedo bombers on time. Oh sorry, those against those torpedoes on time, which is pretty hilarious. And at the same time, it basically gives a bit of a lesson that you have to keep watching the minimap, and especially the carrier like FDR. I mean, it can happen even like against other carriers, but man, FDR can actually maneuver your torpedoes and bombers super hard that it basically makes it even more crazy. And same situation is going to happen with Venezia. Now Venezia got his attention diverted from a battleship on the corner, and then he quickly realized his fate, and he's dead as well. Like, the funny thing is, he eaten all 8 torpedoes in this case. That maneuver that I did on the torpedo bombers killed the Venezia. Like, it did like almost 20,000 damage for sure, and Venezia has like 50,000 HP. So you can imagine how much damage potential FDR does have in its single full payload. And this is only one payload from this 2 planes, and you have like 7 attack runs, like 7 attack flights. So you can theoretically drop 7 times on a single target, but practically it does happen to be 3 or 4 times. But 3 or 4 times dropping on a particular ship, that is not a joke. Now in this case, Holland was extremely lucky. Again, the RNG does come into play, and Holland actually basically stopped his AA defense. Like, he basically cancelled his AA completely so that he will disengage, but then I put the fighter on top of him, and then Holland actually get distracted pretty hard by Kagero. And Kagero, since he was doing really well, he did really well against Yu Yang. He also taken down Holland with its torpedoes, which is a great job. You see that the value support that Kagero did with me in FDR is absolutely crazy good. A tier 8 destroyer managed to kill both of their tier 10 destroyers just because of the help of Carrier. So Carrier, the best support ship in the game. Now, again, I was talking about the 8 bomb hits on a ship, right? On Carriers particularly. Look at the damage. This is almost 19,000 damage that I did with all 8 bombs hit. This is like hitting, getting hit by a truck. This is literally for a carrier hit by a truck. It is so high damaging bombs and torpedoes. Torpedoes can also do like 23k, 24k damage. I mean, FDR probably has like 3rd highest alpha damage. When it drops his payload, it's very, very close to Nakhimov. And Nakhimov drops on a particular target like one time and he has to come back and fly towards the target again. But FDR just hover around like barely 20 seconds and he will have its torpedo bombs ready to drop again with insane payloads. So it is pretty insane. There's no question asked. 200k damage I think I did almost like with like what 11 minutes into the game, which is pretty crazy to be honest. Like, it's not certainly an easy feat to get like easy 200k damage in Carrier. Yeah, I know that it is easy, particularly for Unicum players, I know, but not all the carriers can do that very quickly. Okay, it takes time for get 200k damage in a normal game, unless you are farming battleships. But here, as you can see, I have dropped probably Holland, Venezia as well, a lot of cruisers, and I still did pretty good and get a lot of damage. Now here, I dropped the Manfred von Richthofen since it's the only target left. And look at the damage that I did again. Almost 20k damage with these torpedo bombers. I have done 200k damage before, and now the damage ticks up to 221k damage. Yeah, that's basically an FDR. And if you know and if you're able to understand how to maneuver these torpedo bombers and bombers in such a way, and if you practiced like it to perfection, which I almost did in this FDR, well, you can be a serious threat to basically any ship in the game. Let alone, I mean, destroyers will even have a hard time doing against anything like FDR. It is really powerful. And FDR certainly is one of those carriers which can absolutely win the game when you are doing just right with the right timings. So it was a decent game. As you see, as a premium ship, well, you also earn a lot of credits, which is nice. It was a very, simple green booster which give 20% credit plus, and you also get some good free XP. Again, a gray booster. It's nothing too special, but in the team score, in the battle performance, 221k damage, 34 torpedo hits, 37 bomb hits, and again, 63mm penetration means that you can actually penetrate basically almost all battleships and cruisers in the game. Entire game, except a couple of ships, Rugrea, Rodilaria, FDG, I'm not sure, maybe they might be Pommern. Pommern also have this a bit of a deck armor around 80mm, if I'm not wrong. But there are like a couple of exceptions. Then we have 3 kills, which is nice, 3 floods. Again, flooding isn't like particularly amazing, even though I got 34 torpedo hits. Still, it's pretty good. 9 fires, insane. Like 37 bomb hits and you get 9 fires, that is pretty brutal. And Confederate high caliber in an easy FDR winning game. So team score wise, well, as you can see, I have helped a lot with this Kagero. Kagero was actually a good player. He's doing great job, and Kurfus did a good job as well, which is nice. But again, if I would have perfected my drops against Venezia and a couple of other targets, maybe I would have easily gotten to 2.1k base XP. It's no difficulty in FDR. Like, if you're doing that much damage, it is pretty easy to get on the top. Like, it is so easy. And definitely, that's the reason why I would say it's broken. It is broken. People say it's not. I believe it is. You do that much good in this ship, well, you will eventually get the results. Team score, detail report wise, did basically damage to across all ship targets. Holland, Yoshino, FDG, Richthofen, CVs are also vulnerable. Yu Yang, every single Yu Yang with torpedoes, by the way. Almost 9,000 damage with the 3 torpedoes. So it's pretty hilarious at the same time. So yeah, that's how FDR really works in the game. And by the way guys, if you are new to the channel, I think you should definitely click and subscribe, because I make a lot of carrier gameplays, sometimes a lot much more other ship classes as well. It's a balance between carriers, submarines. Submarines are rare, but still. The other ship classes like destroyers, cruisers, and battleships as well. So keep watching the video, and if you like it, subscribe. Maybe I will make more videos related to FDR. You never know. And I will catch you guys later. Thank you for watching.